Morning. Welcome to the April Confab. Glad to have you all here today. Big week for us with our staff. It's Staff Appreciation Week. So if you see a staff member, please tell them thank you for what they do. Our Human Resources group and dining group have put together a real big week. We have a couple of meals this afternoon for lunch, this evening for the night shift, and do it again for the other team that's not here today on Thursday. And then I think there's 87 gifts that people will have drawings for. There are duckies or something that the staff pull out, and there's cash prizes, things like that. So all kinds of things for our, just to say thank you to our staff for what they do every day. So just be aware if you see any of us dressed down a little bit, it's my excuse today. And my excuse was COVID, so haven't gotten back yet. Moving on, rebroadcast schedule. You have it on the community app as well as 971 Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. They're on the screen for you if you'd like to watch it again. And we also have poetry threaded throughout our theme, Poetry Month, says Angela. Call-in number is 6304, and catch me at my best. I do not see their gentleman back there, but two people. First one we have for the Lee Van Horn Award, Jay Waller. Jay is one of our drivers. My husband had an emergency eye appointment at 5 p.m. the other day. Jay was kind enough to stay late, making sure we are able to make the appointment. We are so fortunate to have such generous people on our side here at Westminster Canterbury. Thank you, Jay. Congratulations, Jay. Jay was a really nice addition during the winter driving also with the ice storms. We had probably our best crew of volunteers helping get staff to and from homes to get here and take care of everyone. So appreciate Jay and the whole team driving. And Dale Hudson. Dale was one of the first staff members we met after moving in. My wife is an artist, and we had many paintings for him to hang. Just earlier this year, he helped us rearrange several of them. He is extremely knowledgeable about art and how to explain it. Dale Hudson. Now turn it over to Resident Council. I won't. We'll mention some of the honorable mentions up there. You have Gary, Chad, Tracy, Amy, Dee, David, Brian, Yafet, and Michael. Congratulations, and we appreciate everyone submitting their names. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Herb Cox, Chairman of Resident Council. But today I'm wearing my hat of Chair of the Dining Services Committee. In this, we really want you to recognize this little card. This is the dining comment card, and it's on display here. The main thing I want you to know is everything, this card is read every day, and monthly dining services gets a report. And dining management uses this in their staff meetings, and changes are made based on your comments. One specific thing I want to point out is on the back of the card, just below the date, says check here if you want a response. In other words, if you would like to talk to someone about this in response, make sure you check that, and they will get back to you. I wanted to show you, in the next slide, we have, and the reason I'm pointing this out, this is taken in the cafe. In the cafe, the dining cards, comment cards are on the table, and then a nice little stand there that probably someone in workshop did for everybody. And also, there are 3 boxes shown in the picture on the right where you submit your comment card. And I'm emphasizing the cafe because you see on the next slide, we get a lot of comments from the James River Grill, the Dogwood Dining Room, primarily because at the end of your meal, when your ticket is brought to you, a comment card is included with that. And we encourage everybody to fill it out. But you'll see the numbers there reflect how many are filled out by the James River Grill, and I'm showing the months of March and April. Canterbury Cafe had 13 in March. That's we need to improve that. It did improve sixfold in April. Not real sure why, except that it might have been the result of a new menu, the new spring menu coming out, and a lot of comments based on that. But we're looking for comments, both positive and negative. We want to know things that you are concerned about and things that you see that you really like. You'll see on the right this how they are scored. And this is based, again, on how you fill out the front of your card on a rating of 1 to 4. That the quality of service, the quality of the food, service and food temperatures are 3 that I've highlighted here. And I specifically wanted to talk about April. And just to give you some idea of the type of comments we get and the reaction and actions taken. We had a comment made during April about the food being too spicy. I want you to know that the recipe was changed based on that. There was a new entry, on a new item, the slippery chicken dumplings, that got a lot of comments about maybe the dumplings had not been cooked properly, and so they switched to a new recipe for that. Gotten comments regarding chicken being too heavily breaded, and I know they've changed the way they bread the chicken now. In fact, it's done in-house. An item about too much balsamic vinegar in Brussels sprouts. This was reviewed with the chef. Food temperatures. That's one that shows up, particularly in the cafe, as being in a lower percentile. It's one of the lower items on there, and it reflects the fact that the food was not warm for that specific person. And so they've introduced plate covers to help. And the fact, from the moment you get the food, put on your plate, go by the cashier and sit down, the food can significantly cool. So the plate covers, I think you'll find, will really help that. And I just wanted to point out, these are things that your comments are not ignored. Your comments are really taken action on, and I want to continue to encourage you. I'd like to see these numbers for Canterbury Cafe increase significantly. I have a question in the back.
Yeah. One of the things I've noticed just standing in line is that sometimes people that are going through the entree line make comments to the people who are doing the serving to the point that I think it's berating sometimes. And I think that's inappropriate. They're not the ones that are cooking the food. And I think if people would, if they, you don't have to like everything that's served, but use the cards. And I think appropriately, the people that I've heard, the servers, they'll say, please fill out the card. I can't help you. So I hope that we can do a better job of not fussing at the people that are putting the food on our plates.
Yeah, and thank you, Harold, for that. Just understand that we do read the cards. The cards are recorded. They're put into a large spreadsheet. We're even using AI now. I say we. Keith and Dining Services is using a lot of that to throw up different analysis. And if a particular server has been pointed out as doing an exceptional job, they'll recognize. They keep track of all of that stuff. So, yes.
You might mention that these can be done on the dining link on the resident website also, if you, at least that was the case on the old website, and I assume is the case on the new website, that there's a link in the dining services link on the resident website.
I'm not sure.
It
I'll
used
talk to
to
you about that afterwards. I'm not sure about that.
it used to be the case on the old resident website. I would assume it is still the case. I don't know if that.
Well, I know there are some things that are not on the old, or not on the new website that were on the old, and that's being reviewed. But I'm not aware of that being on the new resident app.
I don't know. Do you know that, Bill? Is it?
They're not here.
Well,
But the point is, there are plenty of these that you can get, even if you were to take something you didn't eat in the cafe and you didn't take a comment card with you, you can certainly fill out a comment card the next day and leave that behind, to say that the meal on Wednesday, such and such a date, I liked it, or I thought it was too much gravy on it, or something to that effect.
In my opinion, the overhead music in the cafe could be improved. It is even at times worse than the overhead music at the Kroger store. You might want to look into that.
Thank you. Let me encourage you, and I don't want to cut this off, but Dining Services Committee meets the third Wednesday of every month, and we have a listening session. And these types of comments are the things that we would love to have at that point. And I will encourage you, when you come to those meetings, the Dining Services Management is also there, and often these, you're speaking to the bosses when you do that.
Sometimes I hear them say, watch out, you've got a hot plate, and sometimes nothing. Do we have a plate warmer that they put our food on?
Yeah, I'll have to find out, Fred, and get back to you on that. I don't know. I know.
I think we do, because they're very hot when we're served sometimes.
Okay. Well, that concludes just fill out the comment cards, and hopefully you will get more good results.
Well, you can see I read a shorter poem, but hopefully you can read it and now pay attention to me. I'm a resident council member at present, and also the present chairperson for the Resident Health Support Committee. Our committee functions as a resident association liaison to resident life and wellness department relating to health services at WC. Many of us moved in here for the variety of living spaces for independent living and the continuum of living with health care options, probably more than we did for the dietary. Our committee urges all residents to be fully informed about the health options here. This is my 4th year at Westminster Canterbury, and I must admit, for the first 3, I have not made taken advantage of the yearly transitions program. But this year I'm doing that. And the Residents Council, as you've seen in some of the weekly happenings, urges you to join me and other members at these meetings, which are occurring Thursday and on through May. Lisa Martin will have more to say about this in a minute. The main focus of our brief talk today is keeping the medical information form up to date. You're all familiar with the refrigerator flyer. Now back to the form, please, Angela. If you've forgotten what's on this form, all you have to do is go to your refrigerator and pull out what you have, and you'll see at the top a date. And if it's a long time ago, it's time to update it. And you'll probably see as you read down the form that many things have changed. The main importance for this is that this form accompanies you to an emergency room or the hospital if indeed you have to be called out on short notice. And a copy should be given to the clinic because sometimes the one on the refrigerator is missed or whatever. So we urge you that if there are changes to medication, insurance, a new diagnosis, any major procedure, or doctor visits, especially doctors that are not within the Centra umbrella, that you encourage the doctors to send copies to the clinic. I happened to update our MMI forms last week because we had a change in our situation. But as I mentioned earlier, I tend to put things off. And I imagine a lot of the people here do the same. So the Resident Health Support Committee has designated this Friday, May the 1st, as Update My Medical Information Day. Gwen Pope has copies of this form, as does Lisa in the back. The form can also be downloaded from the Resident app, and we encourage you to update yours. I must admit that I used a shortcut. I pulled out what I had done a year and a half ago and changed the date and made little changes and made a copy and took it to the clinic. But the main thing is to get to it. Friday's only 3 days away. Thank you.
Just one quick comment. This one is on the road.
It's under publications and forms. And forms. Thank you.
Bill, where we can get those, please?
You can get them from Gwen or Lisa later in the meeting, the Resident Life and Wellness Office.
Good morning. Good to see everybody. Just a few things to pass on from building services, and we can start with the elevators. Soon, hopefully, I won't have to talk about this. So we started this modernization job, I guess it's been a little over a year ago now, and we started with the Riverside elevators, which number 5 and number 6, then moved to Creekside, elevators number 3 and 4, and then to the Brookhaven building, elevators 1 and 2. We are currently working on the service elevator in the Riverside building. And like you, we'll be glad when we have this wrapped up. Most likely, we will have to bring a crane back on campus to set up on what I call Main Street, the main entrance, kind of where the fountain is out front. To be determined as far as a date for that yet, but we will send a notice out. Other work and projects going on. As mentioned in our last confab, we contracted with Train to rebuild chiller number 2. That is to extend the life of the equipment that has since been completed. We thank you for your patience again during the month of March as we worked on the bridge, library, and commons. Our goal was to have that wrapped up by the end of March, and I think we came pretty close. Maybe the library went a couple days over, but appreciate your patience on that, and hats off to Mary Ann and Larry Thomas for overseeing a lot of that project. So I think Sean brought up, I may have as well, last confab, we're looking at renovating our main kitchen, which is located on the 3rd floor of the Riverside building. It's an area you don't see a lot, but definitely needs a facelift. Contractor has been selected. Jamerson Lewis will be doing that work. We met last week to discuss a start date, and we're looking at the month of August. Make sure I'm telling you right. Yes. More information from Sean, Keith, myself will be coming out as we get closer to that date, so stay tuned. JCI fire alarm, they were just here this month in the Creekside and Cottages for fire alarm testing. They will be back out in July for Brookhaven and Woods Edge. Moving outside to the grounds. Got some nice rain this morning. Used a little bit more. So the guys are working on mulching. Mowing season is kicked off, so they're mowing once a week now. Got our 2 decorative fountains up and going. Although I came across the bridge just a minute ago and looked down and saw it wasn't bubbling. So sometimes that kicks a breaker we have to reset. And we're working on getting the irrigation system fired back up. Irrigation, irritation, same thing. But we will get it right. RSG usually comes out. We have them sometime within the next 2 weeks is the window. They'll cut on every zone and, repair broken heads, busted line, whatever the case may be. And short and sweet this morning. Any questions? Yes, ma'am. I think you got a mic coming.
Right here.
Okay. When there's a Code 9 alert, as there was this morning, is there a way for us to know if that is just a test or if it's for real, and what action is called for by us?
So the safest place for you would be inside of your apartment. And usually, I think this morning I was helping with employee appreciation. We usually announce an all clear call at the end of the emergency. And I think this morning something was going on the terrace level where somebody set off a smoke detector. Anything else? Yes, sir. So, I'm going to do my best to explain this. It depends on where the code originated from. If your building is directly connected to where the code originated from, you will hear the whatever announcement it is. The all clear, however, goes to all buildings. Fire alarms? All right. Have a good day.
That's a nice poem. Thank you, Angela. Good morning, everyone. Our Wellness Resident of the Month for April is Linda Evans, and in May it's Janice Houseman. So be sure to congratulate them when you see them, and you'll see their information in the newsletters, on the app, and on the information board in our wellness department as well. So at wellness class schedule and programs, we have several changes in our wellness class schedule. In May, our outdoor classes will begin May 4th and will run through September 30th. That's just our 8:30 a.m. class, and that's just Monday through Wednesday this time. And that's located on the Terrace Shuffleboard Court. And like I said, that will begin next Monday. And I do have a schedule up on the information board right outside of the fitness center, because sometimes that's weather permitting and that's also schedule permitting. So sometimes it will be brought inside. So I have a monthly schedule in there with those classes on there and highlighted if it's going to be brought inside. Now, weather permitting, that's another thing. I may come in and it may rain that morning, so I'll put notes on the doors so you'll know if it's inside as well. And we also will take the 3P program on Friday out once a month on the second Friday of each month. Again, that will be on the schedule. It will also show in your monthly, weekly schedules as far as on the scheduling of the calendar and that type of thing. Also, our Tai Chi with Jessie Teasley is normally the first Tuesday of each month. There is a change that just came about, and he will not be here next Tuesday. However, he will be here on the 11th, May 11th, which is a Tuesday, for the 1:30 p.m. Tai Chi class, and he will do an hour class at that time. That will be reflected in your weekly newsletters, and you will see that in the scheduling on that. Pool volleyball is every month, the first and third Tuesday each month at 10 a.m. in the pool, and you're always invited to come. They would welcome you. They're always looking for more people to come and play, and they all have a lot of fun. As of May 1st, our therapeutic swim for healthcare and assisted living, that time has changed. We're changing that to be from 2 to 3 p.m. on each Tuesday in the pool. However, the pool does remain open at that time. At one time, we were closing the pool at that time, but it remains open because that works well. And other changes that have come about since this PowerPoint, we're going to have some specialty classes the second week in May. Aqua Tabata in the pool class, they will have a specialty class with Becky Bourne. And we'll also have an I Move Freely with Julia Jackson that week as well. So you will see that again in your weekly newsletters on the schedule. And also on the app. That schedule I will have on the app as well. And then we also have the Power of Breath, Simple Practices for Health and Well-Being. Lee Rooney from Prana Fitness and Yoga will come and do a specialty program in May. Also, Marco will do a demo of the seated stepper on the terrace, again in May. And Discover the Power of Nutrition Roundtable discussion with Brenda Meredith has been extremely popular, so we're going to repeat the last one once again in May. And then we will have sign-ups for our Wall of Ribbons for cancer awareness during the month of May, and then the ribbons will be put up on the wall in the month of June for cancer awareness. And then for our in June, so I'm covering both May and June. And so in June, we will also have We Learn and Play with Marco in our activities room. It's been many years since we have brought out the We, but I have had a couple people mention that, and so we will be doing that in June. And then Lori Falabella will be back with Synchronizing Sound Bath, doing a sound bath once again in June as well. Our Soulmates Walks, there's a full schedule for our Soulmates Walks. In May, we have Blackwater Creek Trail and Saunders Monticello Trail, along with Carter's Mountain Orchard on that trip. And then in June, we have Falling Creek Park, James River State Park, and Peaksview Park. We have WC University Wellness Lectures in June. In June, it's Alpha-Gal 101 as it relates to food choices with Brenda Meredith. And also, we have Seeds of Better Health, Small Daily Choices for Lifelong Well-Being with Brandy Scott. Our history series in May will be with Elizabeth Lipson speaking on Pearl Buck, and Dr. Charles Driscoll in June speaking A Forgotten Founding Father. And our Parkinson's group, we still have Friends with Parkinson's. Our support group is the first Monday of each month, both in May and June, as well as the YMCA Parkinson's Support Group, which we have a bus to take all of you there on the third Tuesday of both May and June. Our pedal pushers, see that schedule. We have a full schedule there. In May, they'll ride at Roanoke River Greenwood Trail and have lunch at the Green Goat. And in June, they'll be at Huckleberry Trail, and lunch is to be determined on that trip. Our pickleball schedule is out as well. You'll see in May and June, we'll be going to play pickleball at Crosswhite. And then our Wonderful World of Nature is starting back up with the season. And next week, we'll have bateau rides on that one day on Wednesday. We have 4 different times that you can go to take a trip on the bateau. And also, they will be also coming up in June as well, because Rob will be offering that in June as well. And then in May, we have a trip to the Daniel Science Museum. And in June, we have Bonnie Miles speaking on wildlife rehabilitation and bats. And we will also take a trip to Lewis Ginter Botanical Gardens. We will once again have Music in the Air in May. And that will be on May 21st and 22nd in the afternoon from 4 to 5. And then we have rain dates of May 28th and 29th. And you'll see all that information in the monthly newsletter. However, there have been a few changes. So I just mentioned the musicians. The musicians we kept adding here and there, which is wonderful. Judy Schultz, Susan Carroll, Tom McNona, Lyle Bone, Glenn Dillon, Linda Pinto Torres, Russ Hovda, Ken Matthews, Glenn Buck, Jocelyn Lucan, and Gary Cash. And so you'll see more information coming out on that, and the sign-up sheets will be going out very shortly. And some of them will be on the enrichment board as well, because we have lots up, so not a lot of room. And then see all of our information on the resident app, all of the newsletters, and everywhere that we put it. Here are some of pictures of some things that went on over the past few months. We went to the Parkinson's concert at the YMCA. We had the lecture with on nutrition with Brenda, as well as our health fair. We have pictures of our health fair and some walks as well. And then coming up is our music in the air. Anybody have any questions? Yes, sir. 10 o'clock on the first and third Tuesday of the month. 10 o'clock for volleyball. They're saying come 10 minutes earlier, because get all ready and warmed up. Any other questions? Thank you. Have a nice day.
Good morning. Last week, we started our transition series with the kickoff from attorney Peter Davies, who spoke on healthcare decisions, power of attorneys, advanced directives, etc. This week will be a presentation on remaining in your independent living residence with support services, as well as what we look for when it's time to maybe make a move to another level of care. The remaining sessions will be on skilled nursing rehabilitation, long-term health care, assisted living and memory support, understanding your contracts and billing, and how we support you through the transition through your end of life. And we hope to see you there. And I just put the My Medical Information forms up here on the very front row near Angela. So if you want one of those, pick one up. And we'll also have them in our office, in the Resident Life office. Any questions for me? Thank you.
Good morning. On Wednesday, April 22nd, during National Volunteer Week, we held our annual volunteer reception, during which we presented the Lucille T. Drinkett Award for the distinguished service to the aging to Ann Robinson. Ann helps in many different departments: accounting, purchasing, marketing, and development. As well as she played a vital role in getting a new folding machine to replace a machine that had died in the accounting office that was more than 25 years old. In addition to the Lucille T. Drinkett Award, we also presented other awards to 30 deserving volunteers. From April 2025 until March of 2026, we had a total of 238 people that turned in 17,882 hours. Of the 238 people, 133 of those were residents. 5 were from the community, and 95 were from nursing students or interns, and 5 were staff. We had an average of 91 people to turn in hours each month. Of the 17,882 hours, 8,793 hours were performed by residents here on campus. 7,143 hours was performed off campus in the community. The employees performed 108 hours in the community, and our nursing students and interns performed 1,838 hours. Once again, I encourage you to turn in your hours, either by filling out the form that is located in the rack in the main lobby or by emailing me. And those timesheets are now on the app in the publications icon. Once again, staff and I say thank you to our many volunteers.
Good morning. So I wanted to give you an update on the foundation and our work. We've been currently raising money for the unrestricted fund. This is our second appeal of this fiscal year, and we're really pleased with the results so far. The appeal will end on Thursday, April 30th. So if you haven't made your gift yet, there's still time, but many of you in this room have, and we are grateful. So far, we've raised $65,501, which is a few $1,000s more than last year. Again, we thank you for your support. As you know, the unrestricted fund makes a real difference in the life of campus. Most recently, it helped us to the finish line to complete the Bridge, Commons, and Library refresh project. Last year, it funded the purchase of a wheelchair-accessible van. Two great examples of your generosity at work. We will have one more appeal this fiscal year coming this summer, and it'll support the Healthcare Enrichment Fund. Next slide. So now that we're 6 months into our fiscal year, I wanted to share an update. As of the end of March, we've raised $395,301. This is for annual giving, which is about $25,000 ahead of last year at this time. When you include trust gifts that we've received and estate gifts, our total for this year for 6 months is just under $500,000. So we're off to a great start this half of the fiscal year. Last year, our fundraising total was boosted by a pretty significant estate gift that we received in the third quarter. So we're not sure exactly how giving will end up this year, but annual giving is really strong, and we're looking forward to a good, solid finish. And of course, we'll celebrate that finish again in October at our annual appreciation donor event, wherever that might be, despite what's happening in the kitchen and catering. So we'll TBD on that. Lastly, we had Peter Davies was supposed to come in January, but because of the ice storm, we postponed rescheduled his visit. So he's going to be with us on May, that's the 13th, from 10 to 11 here in the Commons. So if you haven't signed up for that, he's going to be talking about, if you haven't heard Peter, I think maybe some of you have in the transitions, he does a wonderful like 101 course on estate planning, but then he goes beyond that and answers questions, and it's really a worth your hour. So if you can make it, please do, and just sign up with Jane, send her an email, and let her know that you'd like to come. Any questions for me? Thank you.
All righty, a couple of different things. Been asked to talk a little bit about the website and the resident website. It is going to be unpublished April 30th. The website has not been updated, so obviously we want you to start using the Uniguest Touchtown apps that you have on your phones, computers, tablets. I think we're doing a very good job. 2022, there was a study done here that said we spent somewhere around $66,000 in paper for newsletters, recorder, chimes, things like that. I'm hoping that number is down from where we used to be. We're getting better, I think, at using our phones and these electronic devices. At the time, I guess in 2022, almost 75% of the content was available digitally, and hopefully we've improved with that. I know things like our Canterbury Club and Azalea Plan members now, through Jane in constant contact, get things like the chimes, recorder, and the newsletter sent electronically rather than by paper. So please help save a tree or save a number of trees. Also, staying with the theme on resident app, thank you to all residents who moved their biographies from the resident website to the apps. For those of you that did not do so or were unable to, it was done for you by a number of volunteers, so thank you to those people. And if you go to the resident newsletter, you can see ways if you don't like your picture, want to update your picture, add more, add less to your bios. There is information on ways to go ahead and do that in the app. It tells you how to do that, and most importantly, go to the bottom and click Save when you've made those changes. Public service announcement from Betsy Burton, asking people when we have folks moving in, please do not use the elevators that are designated for the movers. It takes a lot longer for those folks to do that. A notice going out, a policy change with our outpatient therapy is that there is going to be a $50 charge to anyone who misses a outpatient therapy visit over a second floor of Drinkard if you do not give a 24-hour notice. $50 for not giving a 24-hour notice. That is pretty common, actually I'd say very common for all the other appointments that we are all making throughout the community, whether it's with our general practitioners, dermatologists, or other therapy companies. One of the problems we have here is our therapists work one-on-one with you, and if a person does not show up, that therapist is idle for 60 minutes until the next person shows up. We don't have 2 or 3 people that they are working with to be able to just devote time to that other person. So notices should have gone out to people who are in therapy, and appreciate you trying to get to those appointments. Following up on the kitchen, Matt said, I think the date is going to be April 17th that we start work in the kitchen back there. It's a lot of infrastructure work on the main kitchen. I said August 17th. What did you hear me say? How could that even happen? That's weird. Thank you, Randy. I think what I meant to say, I'm being told, is August 17th. Thank you. And it's going to take about 60 days, as Matt said. The one thing that we will not have internal catering at that point in time. We will do memorial services. We were talking this morning for things like the Bible study groups we have. We're going to have to try to figure out how to move some of those groups around, so please be patient. And as Matt said, Keith will be up here in front of you talking about how this process will go and how it will affect our lives for those 30 days. Prior to August 17th, Jamerson Lewis will be on site for about 30 days doing some pre-work to hopefully make sure that we don't go over those 60 days. So you'll see those folks around in July. 6 Hearthside is going to be interesting. We're going to be doing work to the 6 Hearthside rehab floor, and that's probably going to start sometime later summer through the fall, where we're going to have renovations, hallways, nursing station, and also to the rooms. The bathrooms up there have not had work done in about 10 or 12 years. With the amount of people that move in and out and all the therapy that goes on in rehab, that floor is worn out. And so even up in the ceiling, we're going to have to cut out ceilings, do work with HVAC. We figure out why we have some of these rooms offline. We'll upgrade some of the heating and cooling system up there as well. So it's a pretty extensive project, but the problem is we're going to keep it open and go kind of 1 by 1, maybe 2 by 2 rooms. So it's going to take a number of months to get through and do those renovations. But you will see and hear more about that going forward. Going back to the outpatient rehab theme, we, last week, I believe, and a couple weeks prior, had reached capacity with somewhere around 85 patients in outpatient rehab, and that has kind of told us, can we do this other places and go out in the community and do that? So at this point in time, in the last couple of weeks, we've been looking, do we have another off-site campus? We will keep the same site we have on the second floor, but it's just an exercise that we've been doing. We've talked with our board, talked a little bit with resident council, of just trying to put all the numbers together to see whether or not we could replicate and go out into the community somewhere in Boonesboro and have an office and see if the numbers would work, whether it would be worth doing that. So that's just something we look at and have been looking at over the past probably 2 to 3 months. So just a conversation we've had. I want to go back to Ann Robinson, congratulate her, thank her for being selected Volunteer of the Year, but also thank all the volunteers out there. I know there's a lot here in the crowd. Helpful to the people, whether it's visiting on committees, whatever it may be, but also gratifying when you volunteer and go out and help people. Thank you. I think that is most of what I was going to talk about. Are there any questions? I'm not done yet. Hold on those questions.
Not sure why it showed up like that.
That's what threw me off. Exactly. Yeah. All right. I can see. All right, so I want to go back to, we haven't had a conversation in Confab since we had the active shooter over at Virginia Episcopal School, and that was almost 2 months ago. We skipped Confab last month. We went into lockdown, a really, really good test for us. Unfortunately, a beautiful day, so there was a number of people outside walking when the building goes into lockdown. Yours truly, I thought I had magic keys and that I could get in anywhere. I was stuck outside for a little bit. So we had some staff in different parts of the building opening the door from inside to get people in, but it was a good exercise for us. Fortunately, this was not an active shooter. It was what we call now swatting, apparently is what the kids do. You and I used to go around and take a roll of toilet paper and decorate trees. Now kids like to call, or adults like to call the police department and say there's an active shooter over at Virginia Episcopal School, and that brought out a SWAT team. And for those of you that didn't see, it was a scary sight because I don't know if there was a good 20 people running around with what looked like AR-15 semi-automatic type weapons, all the gear on and everything, going house to house over at VES, making sure there was not an active shooter on campus. Turned out after an hour and a half or so that they were all clear and told us we could resume what we were doing as well. All that to say is text them all is our quickest way to make you aware of something like that going on. We pushed out a message pretty quickly and had some really low, I'm supposed to be reading some of this stuff, aren't I? No. Am I doing all right? Okay. But there is, if you want, we will have this posted somewhere. I'll be on Resident Web App, Uniguest. So in the announcement section, you can go to this number if you would like to get put into our text them all for notifications. We don't use it too much, but obviously on an active shooter and other emergencies, we like to have communication as best we can and as quick as we can with you. So if you go through this process, you text the number on the screen there, it will take you through and send the word join, and it'll take you into our system so that we can communicate with you. We learned some things, again, going through that process. One thing we didn't do was announce overhead as much as we should have, or initially like we should have. And we will also have a test. Ashley has already left. We will have another, Lori, I think we'll be doing for our regular semi-annual training at active shooter event with our staff as well coming up this summer. So,
Yeah, in a couple of months.
so we'll continue to work on that. Lynchburg alerts is another way. Weather emergency, road closures, different emergency evacuations that could happen here. This is just something that you can do through the City of Lynchburg's website, and there's information there on how to go ahead and do that, so you're able to get those alerts as well as what we have offering with our text-em-all. So Angela, that will be on Uniguest as well? That's right here. So you can watch this again if you would like to go through and see that. But if you go to the lynchburg.gov website, there is a way to do that. And alerts at the bottom. But a good way to keep up with things going on in the city of Lynchburg. I'm done now. Any questions? Thank you, Angela. Questions, thoughts, ideas? All right. Thank you and have a good morning. Let's see. No outpatient kitchen, 6 Harside, outpatient. He talked about that.